Hello everyone and welcome to another video of mine. Now I promised you a video by September and here I am, but it's not actually a computer video, it's a technology video. Because of the simple reason, all the shit you see here on camera is broken. Now I apologize for this video not having any background music, I'm sorry, but honestly I'm getting out of good music to put in backgrounds. And it's kinda hard, I might repeat some stuff, that I've used before. I don't like doing that, but no, I'm running out, so for now no music. Let me know in the comments below if you're okay with me reusing some background music or if you prefer it without. Anyway, continue with the video. Yes, all of the shit you see here is broke. This one is broken. This thing was broken and already fixed, but not fully technically. And this thing is catastrophically broken. This thing is probably going to be a whole video on its own, but in this video I'm just going to give you a small explanation of what happened and a rant, because honestly I am so fed up with this thing and the plans that I'm going to do for a video in the future. Now let's start first with first, and that is with the portable monitor that I've made. Alright, so this is the last electronics project that I've made on this channel, and it's one that I actually use pretty much daily. Unfortunately, this one has broken the time that it was gone. What has happened is simply this little white feedback resistor you can see here is broken. After a time, the screen actually started dimming slowly lower and lower and lower and lower. And at first I couldn't figure out what was wrong. Was it the LCD? Was it the PCB? It turns out it is the PCB. It was most likely, since that was the last thing I worked on. And basically what happened is this is a feedback resistor that basically tells the PCB what the brightness of the TFT panel should be. So I knew it probably was something with that, but you never know until you figure something out. Yeah, that one actually broke. The problem is, I actually don't know what the value of it is. This one is broken, so I can't reliably say, hey, that's the value of it. And there isn't a schematic online that I found. Maybe I haven't looked enough, but I've looked pretty thoroughly. They say the dimensions of the PCB, but they don't say what the value of that one specific resistor is. So I've tried some fixes with capacitor. That was all I had at hand at the time, but nothing worked. Obviously it wasn't a voltage drop, it was just a feedback resistor going bad. I actually even captured it of me touching the resistor, and you can see the brightness actually changing depending on how I touch it. It's a bad video, but honestly it was hard to do with one hand, so that's what that is. So I'm in a bit of a problem right now, and that is that I don't know the value. So how do we fix this? Well, simple. You get a second board. So yes, I got a second board. Why did I do that? Now I can read off directly what the values are. I couldn't do that because there was no schematic before. So what I'm going to do with this board, I'm actually going to fix it up. I'm not going to keep it in here, but I'm going to keep it as a reserve or a donor board. But I'm going to try to make it work at least, so I have two of them. So now that you know the plan, let's get this one installed in here, shall we? Before we get that board actually installed in here, a little change of plan. As you can see, when I was trying to fix it, I nicked it a little bit here with my soldering iron. That's not a big issue, but I decided to do a little bit of extra work and I created a new part. As you can see, it's the grey color. Doesn't matter, I've already replaced some few parts with a grey color, but the new thing is these brass little inserts. I decided to do a little bit of extra effort and give this brass inserts, because all the threads on this plastic one, because I've had to unscrew it and screw it back in so many times while I was trying to fix it, most of the threads are now gone. So I decided to get this new part and install it while I'm replacing the PCBs anyway. So now that you know the plan, let's do that. Alright guys, this is the moment of truth. Let's see if we get a blue screen to see if it works or not. That's good. Yes! Alright! That's already very good. Let me plug in an HDMI and see if it gives the same problem or not. So guys, it's actually been a couple of days since that last little part that I showed where the blue screen was showing up, because it wasn't working. Surprise, surprise, the second board that I got is actually also broken. But what I figured out is that it basically is this guy, the HDMI connector. How did I know that? Well, I've tried multiple HDMI cables and I've even recorded it. As you can see, at one point I hold the cable at a specific angle and the image pops up. I let it go, the image goes away again, which gives me a clear indication that it is this little guy over here. Now, I've actually already fixed it. My first attempt at fixing it was just some contact cleaner. That didn't work. So the second attempt that I did was just resoldering these little pins over here. And that seemed to do the trick. It isn't doing it anymore. Actually, let me plug it in to show you guys. And as you can see, if I now tug on this wire, nothing happens as it should be. So what I'm going to guess, and I'm pretty sure about it at this point, is that just the soldering on that HDMI connector was pretty shitty. Just to make sure, what I've also decided to do is just get a new HDMI connector in the mail, so that if this happens again, that I at least can replace it properly. Anyway, now that that is done, let's get to fixing the next broken thing. And the next broken thing is, as you already know from the beginning, this controller. Well, kind of. It was broken. I already fixed it. Now, most of you guys already know this controller. It's the most popular series I do on my channel. All the popular videos on my channel are about the Arduino game controller that I do. Now, what is exactly broken on this? Well, you see, in my Arduino game controller, at a certain point I decided to go for PS4 joysticks. For the simple reason that they have a way better accuracy and they were way more reliable when I bought them from AliExpress. But because they are PS4 joysticks, they have the same problems as PS4 joysticks, and that is the dreaded drift. It's not as much of a problem as on the Switch consoles, but it's still a big enough of a problem that you see a million videos about these. Now, when I was playing on it, I already decided to fix it quickly, but honestly, what you have to do is properly fix it, which is what I'm going to do now. Now, let's say you are playing with a controller that uses these PS4 style joysticks, and you notice one of your joysticks is drifting. How do you fix this? Well, simple. On this controller, first of all, you take the cover off, just like any other controller, but for me, they're just these little joystick covers. And there we go. Not the easiest thing to take off, but at least possible. Anyway, you take this little cap off. And here you see where the problem lies. It's with these potentiometers. In my case, it was this potentiometer that was drifting a little bit to the right. And basically what you have to do is take this one out, you clean it, and then you put it back together. Normally what you're supposed to do is clean them all out. I've only cleaned out one of them. And that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to clean the rest of them out, because if one of them starts drifting, the chance is pretty high the rest is going to follow. So how do you take this potentiometer apart? You see some people who desolder this whole little unit and then put a new one back on there. I find it a little bit wasteful, because you can actually get away with doing a little other trick that a lot of people like to use. And that's basically pulling this potentiometer off there and then cleaning the insides out like that. That's what I'm going to do. Now, be warned, of course, you're putting a lot of stress on those little metal legs of those, and there's a pretty big chance one of them might actually break. That's just a fact of doing this. But once you understand those risks and you assess that you can do this without breaking anything, you can follow the follow steps. Now, what you want to do is basically pry this off. So, let me show you how I do this. So, I grab a little flathead, and what I'm going to do is just stick it in between there. I'm actually going to grab a little thinner one, because this one isn't actually going in between it. Alright, let's try that again. And there we go. You see? The bit is in between there. Now I will try to put pressure on it equally. Meanwhile, I will try to push these white little tabs in so that they don't try to break off. And then I put a little pressure on it. Not too much. This one doesn't want to go as easy as the other one. I will be honest, the first one was easier. There we go. I used my fingernail there as well. Oh, that's right, I don't need to push in those white tabs. I'm sorry, forget about that part. And you don't want to bend it too much. And now you want to press those white tabs so that you can get this one out of there, that unit. And there you go. You can clean this part off as well, but this isn't the part that usually brings the trouble. It's hard to see on camera, but basically it is inside that gets dirty. As you can see, there's a little bit of black line over here, and that's that metal point-on thing over here that you can see, that actually frictions over the little servers over there, and that's how it actually gets a value back. And the problem is that basically that creates a little dirt over your little contacts over there. And what happens is there's an analog offset over there, and that creates the drift that you're experiencing. To get rid of that drift, what you just do is you grab a little Q-tip with alcohol on it, and you just clean both the parts out. And you see how dirty this little Q-tip is? That's just all the carbon that's on there. And as you can guess, carbon is actually a conductor of electricity, and that's what creates that drift in there. It creates a little offset. Is my theory? Don't quote me on that. I've only searched about it half and half. I know these potentiometers, they come in many different shapes and forms, and yours might be different. This is just what I'm observing with mine, okay? Anyway, you clean that, you put this part back, make sure you put the hook up. If you put it down, it won't work. And then you just... I'm sorry if this is bad camera, but... That was my bottle of alcohol! That was a little live blooper there for you guys. So yeah, always close your bottles. Anyway, as I said, the hook the part a little up. Put it back together like so. Make sure it slides over there. You can put a little bit of pressure there, and it snaps all back together. Actually, this is a good thing to show. One of the teeth actually squished underneath there. If something like that happens, don't be afraid to put it back open, okay? It's best that you put the teeth on the outside. It still works, but that can't be healthy. So make sure both of those teeth actually go through there. And that's how it should be. That feels a lot better too now. So yeah. That's how you do it. Just don't throw over a alcohol bottle or put this plastic little tap in front of it, you know. But now that that is done, let's do the same for the other side, shall we? And voila, that's how you're supposed to actually clean one of these out. It's a little bit funny that those two things went wrong live, but you know what? Maybe best that it did so that you guys can learn from my mistakes and not repeat them. But yeah, that's how you clean one of those out. Remember, if one of those starts drifting, soon of them others start drifting. I've fixed a lot of these PS4 little things over here. It happens with them. Just clean them out. And that's how you fix them. You don't need to replace this whole unit. So, let's put it back together. But before we do, I got another set of these little metal joysticks. I really enjoy these, honestly. I've even modded my own controllers to have these included. I know they're a bit controversial, some people don't like them, but you know what? For me they feel fine. And honestly, do what you guys want to do, okay? Anyway, let's put these on, shall we? Hey guys, future voiceover Neon over here. Unfortunately, YouTube only allows me to upload videos that are 15 minutes long, so I'm going to have to split this video. In the next video, you'll see me finish this controller, putting the metal joysticks on, and then giving it a small rant about the power bank, okay? Sorry for the inconvenience, but I'll see you in the next video, okay? Bye bye!